In the last few years, I have worked with more than 150 businesses and spent 2000 years doing it. And the thing that decides whether they will scale or not was never just the ads. So if your leads are expensive or they are cheap and still nobody is buying, you will see why. I'll show you the 3 places where it actually breaks and in what order you need to approach them to fix them from the roots. So what usually happens when something in your business is not working and you are not getting leads, what will you do? You'll generally do like open up your ad account and change that target, or maybe raise the budget, or maybe spin up some new creatives. But what you are actually doing is only editing and making changes in the last 5% of the machine. However, the rest of the 95% is what that makes the big difference. And the other way to do this is like leave your ad account completely, okay, and then focus on this layer by layer. You start actually finding out what's like, if the ad is not getting clicks, why is it not getting clicks? You actually keep layering it down and find out the truth. And every businesses we have worked with are mostly having the challenges with these 3 problems where they are stuck usually. Now let's start with layer 1, which is market awareness. You know what generally happens in business, like when you see there is a funnel that's working extremely well in your niche, what do? You just copy that and it suddenly dies. It does not work for you. And you just assume the funnel is bad, the offer is bad. Usually it's not either of those. The problem is that you both of you are selling to a completely different audience. And this idea is actually not mine. It's actually by Eugene Schwartz, one of the top marketers in the world of all time. Think of it as a pyramid where there are 5 levels, and the upper you go, the smaller it becomes. The lower you go, the wider it becomes. Now let's take an example of trading, because we run actually a lot of offers in the trading market. At the bottom, there is the widest part, which is unaware market. So let's take an example of trading. Okay, so this person is not even aware, like he is not into trading at all. He's just wondering, like his salary is not able to keep up with bills and all. Okay, at this point, he's not even aware that trading can help him change his situation. Now, as you go above that, thereafter comes the product aware, which is where they are aware that there are products in the market, for example, the algorithm or maybe the emotional control, and they are trying to figure out which one is the real. And then comes at the top, which is most aware. They're even aware, okay, about the products in the market. Okay, what are the products in the market? The pricing of it. They're just like on the final edge. Okay, what are the terms? Which one is best? Which one is having the high likelihood that they will achieve the results? Let's just say if you are already into the business, then this could be the audience where they're already aware about your product, but they just want to understand more about the terms. So what are the terms? Like when the cohort is starting and etc. Okay, but let's just sit on it for a second. And if you are just starting, in that case, you will not have any people into this audience. There will be other products where people are aware about them, and then you can get them into your world and convince them that your product is the best. That could be one approach to do this. Now you must be wondering, well, what funnel or what method do I even use in order to convince them? Okay. So basically there is a funnel called a VSL funnel, video sales letter. So what happens is like you watch an ad on the Meta or Instagram, you actually go to a website, tiny little website where you there is a heading of which is saying like, okay, you are having this problem, enter your name, email, or phone number. And once you give their details, okay, then you see a video. Okay, and on that video, like there is an explanation. Okay, this is how it works. You amplify the problem, you provide the solution, you introduce the product and things like that. And then they have a one-on-one call with your team, and that's how you close them. So that's one of the funnel. Now the thing is, as long as they are in the problem aware, solution aware, and most aware stage, your VSL funnel would work. Okay, because they are already aware about the problem. So you can break their beliefs and introduce your product and stuff like that and convince them. In a 20-30 minute video, VSL works extremely well. But the problem is that as you broaden up the market, the people are just not having the awareness. And a 20-30 minute video is just not enough to complete that awareness. So you do a multi-day workshop. Basically, you get them into a workshop for maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, or 2-3 days back to back, every day for a few hours. And you give them a lot of information, burst their beliefs, introduce your product and solution, and then you make them aware about the problem and sell them different products. So let's take an example. Let's say there's a business owner who is actually in the VSL funnel and doing somewhere maybe like 30, 40 lakh rupees a month. Okay. But at that point, he see that the moment he tried to scale up his budget or he tried to scale his funnel, it start increasing his cost. Okay. And he's just not able to scale. At that point, you realize that the problem is of the market awareness level. And now you need to go to the different awareness level. And that's where like you need to broaden up your funnel and maybe move to a workshop funnel or a different funnel to get to the unaware audience. Now, the question comes here is like when you are just starting, you're in the initial phase of your journey, which funnel do you actually start with? The best place to start is at the top because that's where like those people are the fast to buy. Okay. Basically these three awareness levels, like most aware and probably like the product aware and then solution aware. And then as you broaden up, you can move to the problem aware and stuff like that. Right. The thing is that your goal is to get the lowest hanging fruit, the people who are at the deepest pay. As you look at the top, okay, you see there are the most aware because those people are the most aware. So the pain for them is huge. If the pain is huge, that means they're willing to pay a premium price. But as you come down, okay, the market will get bigger. That means you will be able to sell to more people. But because for them, the problem is not urgent, so they will not pay you a premium. And the paying capacity would keep reducing, but the size of market would keep expanding. As you will expand your market, your cost to acquiring every customer will increase because you are going to the unaware audience. Okay. So you have to pay not only to acquire them, but to educate them. Okay. And that's because the paying capacity of those audience is lower. So you introduce smaller ticket products. The goal with smaller ticket product is not to make profit, but it's to actually get them into your world and help them to come up on the staircase so that later down the line, you can sell them your high ticket or premium products. Now that you know which market are you going after, so thereafter we will move to the next layer, which is positioning. Okay. And it is one of the most crucial part of your business. It can actually make or break your business, can help you charge premium, or it will take your price to basically the bare bottoms. So if you ever look at this, like most business owners sell everything to everyone. They think like if they are not serving to everyone, that means they are leaving money on that table. But the truth is you will always leave money on that table. And business owners just think like because bigger the market, bigger the money and bigger the business it will be. But the problem is that when you are trying to sell everything to everyone, you become generalized and then people start comparing you to the bigger names in the industry. And at that point, you are not playing for like the product, you are playing for the brand. Okay, and it's a game that you will end up losing because those biggest names in the industry have already paid up a lot to acquire that trust, to build up that brand. So instead of that, you actually start going specific. Okay, now by specific, I mean, for example, we had a client like he basically was helping businesses in their goals, but it was very generalized. Okay, so we help you narrow it down for them. Like, what exactly will help them achieve? Is it revenue goals? Is it income goal? Is it a productivity goal? What exactly? Okay, and then we further narrowed it down to like how you're going to do that. So basically, he was able to help them by helping them manage their teams. So it was about the team management. Okay, and all of a sudden it became more specific for a specific group of people who were solving a specific problem using a specific solution. Now, a lot of you might be thinking like, well, what the hell is positioning? I don't really understand this. See, I'll give you a simple example. Let's just say you're walking on an airport and you see Alex Hormozi. What's the first thought that would come to your mind? If you don't know Alex Hormozi, you can imagine the name of any person who you role model. Okay. So what's the first thought that would come to your mind about their work? For example, in case of Alex Hormozi, the first thing that would come, he helps people start and scale their businesses, right? But today his positioning is broad. But when he started, his positioning was not at all broad. He was helping with one thing, fill up the gyms. But over the time, he claimed authority in that market and then he started broadening it up. And today he helps all type of businesses. So now flip this. Let's just say that tomorrow someone in your audience actually see you. What's the first thought you want them to come in their mind? So in order to lock in your position, you need three things: a specific group problem you are solving for a specific group of people and using a specific method. Now, this brings us to the next layer, which is layer 3, creative. How do you turn all of this into creative that algorithms will absolutely love, and you will attract the people who are your ideal customer? Everyone thinks that they are doing specific creative. They are always written like on the landing pages, stuff like that. For example, I was actually reading one of the landing page from a person in a market, and he was doing like the speed reading. Okay, and he wrote basically on the landing page only for professionals. I mean, why really? Really, is it for professionals? I mean, if your solution is about speed reading, it would work for students as well. It would work for housewife as well. Anybody on the planet who is reading, it would help them. So why professionals? So that is not really how you position yourself. By specificity comes like what specific problem are you solving for that specific group of people. If I'll give you an example, basically let's take the example of same person like who was a business owner who was actually helping business owners manage their teams. Okay. Now let's just take, there are two examples. One is probably like an example of a clinic. Okay. And then another one is campus. In the case of the clinic, probably he is going to have the problems like the front desk is not following up. The patients who called last week, they are not even getting booked. Okay. He finds out all of these problems at the end when the numbers are not matching up. On the other side, if someone is running a campus of 500 students with 40 faculty members, and he is not having no way to figure out, okay, how much syllabus has been covered, what is pending until the end of the semester, that both were facing totally different problems. So the way you write the ad is going to be completely different for both of them. If you try to generalize, like I'll help you manage the team, it would become too much generalized and it would end up attracting nobody. So if you remember, earlier Meta used to have a lot of targeting options, but over the time it is reducing all of those options. So where are those options even going? They are not going anywhere. Meta is simply putting them into its AI algorithm so that it can automatically understand what is your ad about. Okay, if you are talking to clinic owners, you have to be very specific about the problems and challenges they are facing, and the moment you write about that in your ad, it will attract only that audience. Just like this, for example, if you're trying to write just one ad per product, it will be like scattered, but the moment you write one ad per problem, it will find that group of clinics or campuses. That's the big difference. And when you combine all of these things, it actually snowballs a lot. Because if you are having the right understanding of the market awareness level, you are writing the ad for that specific awareness level and for that specific group of people who are facing that specific problem. Your ad is going to be laser targeted and people will feel, oh, this is exactly for me. The algorithm would have a better understanding and it will be able to reach to the right set of people. And the problem we are facing with the meta ads, it will stop coming down. And the problem you are having with the meta ads will stop solving over the time. Now that you have everything, now how do you go ahead and actually implement this? So the first thing that you are supposed to do is find your level, okay, where your market actually sits, not where you want them to sit. Okay. Thereafter, second thing is start at the top, find what the urgent problem that you can solve, okay, so that you can charge a premium and your sales could be reduced, okay. Thereafter, your goal is to position, like find a specific problem, one problem for one group and have one specific solution, okay, so that your delivery is also solvable. It's also not crumbled. And thereafter, like one ad per problem, you can write multiple different ads, maybe like 4 or 5 different ads, and each one is talking about one problem. You will see that one of them will start clicking, and that means people are resonating more with that problem. And at that point, you can double down on it. You can make changes on your landing page, change the headline, swap it with the ad which is working, like find out, okay, what problem is it talking about, and then swap the headline of a landing page with that. It will start performing really well because the relevancy would go up. And Meta also notices your landing page, and then over the time, as you keep growing, prepare to scale up, because over the time you need to have cash and the backend products which you can set up later on and to scale.